While looking for clues in the Consolidation Coal Company Scandal series, we found in the Mountain Eagle newspaper the story of Dolph Hall. The newspaper article was very short, but it piqued our interest, and so for the past couple of months, we have been researching this particular case. As with all stories in the Appalachian Mountains, things are not always what they seem at first. There are no public pictures of the people who were spoken of in this story. So we have placed known pictures of Letcher County Courthouse, the Kentucky Appellate Court, and general pictures to help us tell this story. All aboard the Kentucky Tennessee Living Time Machine as we depart on a new series about Troy Triplett and Dolph Hall. Please fasten your seatbelts and keep your arms and legs inside of the vehicle at all times. But to get going, we need your help. We still need to fire up that time machine to transport us. Please help us by clicking on the like, subscribe, and bell notification buttons down below. Not only does this fire up the time machine for our flight back in time, but it convinces the YouTube algorithm that we need a bigger vehicle to reach more people who love history as much as you do. Now, back to our story. Who was Troy Triplett? This is what is known of Troy Triplett. Troy was born November 6, 1914, in Letcher County, Kentucky, to Henry Jack Triplett and Ona Gibson Triplett. His siblings were Jack Triplett, Carl Eugene Triplett Sr., and Virginia Pearl Triplett Brock. He died on May 20th, 1938, at the age of 23 years old. But why did he die so soon? And why was he called the bad man of Letcher County? Triplett accused of Mose Webb's murder. We begin our story with the murder of a mountain farmer named Mose Webb from Macon, Kentucky. The murder took place on December 20th, 1933. Webb was only 55 years old at the time of his passing. The first article that was posted about the death of Mose Webb was published by the Mountain Eagle on Thursday, October 11th, 1934, and it reads, quote, a Letcher County Circuit Court jury was again unable to reach a verdict this week in the case of Troy Triplett, 19, tried Monday for the second time on a charge of murdering Mose Webb at his home on the head of North Fork in December 1933. Webb was near the front porch of his home just after dark when he was wounded in the leg by a shotgun fired by someone standing near his gate. Marilyn Bates was charged with the fatal shooting just after the incident, and police say Triplett was with him. Defense attorneys say Triplett was 5 or 6 miles away from Webb's home at the time of the shooting. A third trial will be held in January. Unquote. We do have some more details as to the Mose Webb case from the newspaper article printed in the Mountain Eagle on May 23rd, 1938. Quote, in that case, Triplett, then 17, was accused of murdering Mose Webb outside Webb's home at the head of North Fork near Pine Gap in late December 1933. According to testimony in the case, Webb was walking by the front porch of his home when he was shot in the leg with a shotgun. Webb's neighbor, Marilyn Bates, was arrested along with Triplett. Bates was tried separately and was convicted and sentenced to life, while prosecutors claimed Triplett fired the shot that killed Webb. Defense attorneys maintained Triplett was not with Bates when the shot was fired, but was 6 miles away. Jurors were unable to reach a verdict in the case after 2 trials, and Triplett was set free. Unquote. So, first question. How can someone die from a shotgun wound to the leg? In most cases, a person has a greater than a 90% chance of survival if shot in the leg. The only thing we could think of in this case is if the bullet shattered the femoral artery and there was no one around to help apply pressure or a tourniquet to stop the bleeding. It would not take long in such a case for a person to simply bleed out and cause their death. It is estimated that this would have taken anywhere from 5 minutes to 1 hour, depending on how much damage was done to the area. Yes, we know the things we look up for this channel. Anyway, so we can assume that both cases ended with a hung jury because we do not have the proclamation that Triplett was found innocent of the crime. If, on the first trial, he was found innocent, then under the double jeopardy laws, he could not have been tried again. We also do not have a motive as to why Mose Webb was shot. However, because of the trouble that Triplett faced, he was determined to get even with the prosecution's star witness, Dolph Hall. After all, we can assume that Hall placed Triplett at the scene of the crime instead of miles away, as Triplett had claimed. Triplett accused of Dolph Hall's murder. Now, this really depends on which source you use as to how old Dolph Hall was at the time of his death. His age ranges wildly from 10 to 26 years old. Also, the date of his death ranges. Most sources state that it happened sometime during July 15th, 16th, and 17th, 1937. What is actually known is that he was buried in the Potter Cemetery in Kona, Kentucky. His birth is unknown and his family is unknown. We also have no explanation as to what he witnessed during the murder of Mose Webb, or the reason that Troy Triplett would target a child other than Hall placed Triplett at the scene of the crime, and or Hall also testified that he saw Triplett shoot Webb. A little newspaper housekeeping here. At the time in Letcher County, if you were not married and or orphaned and under the age of 18, you were considered to be a child. In many cases, the word infant is used for children under the age of 16 in the newspaper reports. If Dolph Hall was older than Troy Triplett, we have to wonder why Hall is referred to as a child if he was 26 years old, as the newspapers state that he was. But we find it more likely that Hall was somewhere between the ages of 14 to 16 years old at the time of his passing. We do find it odd that there is no mention of who Dolph Hall was, where he lived, who his family was, and his exact age at the time of his death. However, this murder did stir up Letcher County at that time. We are hopeful that more information about who he was will come to light with time. In next week's video, we will go into the newspaper reports that can be found about who witnessed the murder of Dolph Hall, the arrest and first conviction of Troy Triplett, and his escape from the Harlan County Jail and his recapture. Thank you. Kentucky, Tennessee Living would like to thank you for watching our video series on the story of Troy Triplett, the bad man of Letcher County. Don't forget to hit that like button, as the more likes we receive, the more likely YouTube is to suggest our videos to other viewers. Also, to receive notice when we upload a new video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell notification button. We thank you for continuing to support Kentucky, Tennessee Living as we are discovering the mysteries in Appalachian history.